Close your eyes now and feel into the silence that exists between your heartbeats. In this sacred pause, before thought becomes form, before intention becomes action, there lives a frequency so pure, so undeniably you, that it hums beneath every dream you've ever held about your work in this world. Your business, this vision that stirs within you, is not something you need to create. It already exists, vibrating in the quantum field of infinite possibilities, waiting not for your strategies or your plans, but for your recognition. Like a radio tuning into a station that was always broadcasting, your deepest work is already there, already whole, already calling your name through the static of doubt and the noise of comparison. Tonight, as your body settles deeper into this moment of rest, let yourself feel how exhausted you've become from trying to force what wants to flow. Feel the weight of all those business plans stacked like stones upon your chest. Each strategy a small betrayal of the knowing that lives in your bones. Your nervous system has been holding the tension of believing you must manufacture what is already seeking to be born through you. Breathe now, and in this breath, remember, you are not the creator of your purpose, you are its vessel. You are the observer whose very attention gives form to what was always meant to be. This is the observer effect, not as a scientific concept, but as a lived truth. Your consciousness doesn't create the frequency, it reveals it. The way dawn doesn't create the sun, but simply allows its light to be seen. In the space before dawn, when the world is soft and still, your truest work whispers to you, not through the language of metrics and market research, but through the language of resonance. Your body knows this frequency. It's the feeling that rises when you imagine touching lives in the way only you can. It's the warmth that spreads through your chest when you envision the healing, the transformation, the beauty your work could bring into being. This frequency has been with you long before you knew what business meant. It was there when you were small, when you played in ways that felt like pure expression. It was there in the moments when you forgot yourself completely and became something larger. A channel for love, for creativity, for service that felt effortless because it was aligned with who you truly are. But somewhere along the way, you learned to mistrust this inner knowing. You learned that business meant suffering, that success required sacrifice, that authentic work could never truly provide. You internalized the story that your gifts weren't valuable unless they were packaged in ways that felt foreign to your soul. And so you began to reach outside yourself for formulas, for strategies, for someone else's blueprint of how to build what matters. Your nervous system remembers this betrayal. It holds the memory of every time you chose what looked successful over what felt true. It carries the residue of every moment you pushed through exhaustion instead of honoring your natural rhythms, every time you marketed from desperation instead of genuine desire to serve. This is why your business feels heavy sometimes, why the joy gets buried beneath the endless to-do lists and optimization strategies. But tonight, in this gentle return to yourself, you can begin to unravel these patterns. You can begin to remember that your business is not separate from you. It is an extension of your being, a quantum entanglement between who you are and how you serve. When you try to force your work into shapes that don't match your frequency, you create dissonance not just in your business, but in your very cells. The quantum field responds to frequency, not effort. It responds to the coherence between your inner state and your outer expression. When you align with the vibration that is authentically yours, you don't need to chase clients or opportunities. They arise naturally, drawn by the same magnetic force that pulls iron filings toward a magnet. This is not magic. This is physics. This is the way energy naturally organizes itself around coherent patterns. Feel into your body now and notice where you've been holding the belief that you must prove your worth through struggle. Notice the places where you've armored yourself against the possibility that your work could feel as natural as breathing, as joyful as play, as necessary as water to those who need what you offer. Your business is not built through force. It is tuned into, like an instrument finding its perfect pitch. The work is not in creating the frequency, but in clearing away everything that prevents you from hearing it clearly. Every old story about what business should look like, every inherited belief about money and worthiness, every pattern of pushing when your body wants to rest. These are simply static interfering with your natural signal dot in the quantum realm. There is no separation between the observer and the observed, between you and your work, between your inner state and your outer reality. Your business is not happening to you, it is happening through you, shaped by the quality of your attention, colored by the depth of your self-love, magnetized by your willingness to show up as exactly who you are. As your breath deepens and Your mind begins to quiet. Feel yourself sinking into the frequency that has always been yours. Not the frequency of desperation or proving, but the frequency of pure being from this place. Your business is not something you do, it is something you are. It is your love made visible, your gifts made tangible, your frequency made manifest. In a world that has been waiting for exactly what you came here to offer, let yourself rest now in this knowing, trusting that as you sleep, this frequency will continue to vibrate through you, organizing your dreams, aligning your energy, preparing the soil of your subconscious for the quantum shifts that want to unfold through your work in this world. What if your business has been waiting not for your next strategy, but for your permission to be as beautiful and natural as you are? Close your eyes for a moment and feel into the sensation of holding your breath. Notice how your chest tightens, how your shoulders rise toward your ears, how your entire being contracts around the effort of control. This is what happens to your dreams when strategy becomes static, when the beautiful, flowing river of possibility gets dammed up by endless planning, endless analyzing, endless preparing for a moment that never quite arrives. Your nervous system knows the difference between inspired action and forced movement. It recognizes the subtle tremor of anxiety that runs through forced plans, the way your body contracts when you're pushing against the natural rhythm of creation right now. As you breathe deeply into your belly, notice how your exhale wants to be longer than your inhale. This is your body teaching you about release, about the profound wisdom of letting go. There's a story your subconscious mind tells itself about safety, that if you plan enough, control enough, strategize enough, you can somehow guarantee the outcome you desire. But quantum field theory whispers a different truth. The very act of rigid observation collapses infinite possibilities into a single, limited outcome. When you grip too tightly to one specific path, you close yourself off from the quantum events that might want to unfold through your business in ways far more beautiful than your mind could ever orchestrate. Think of water flowing down a mountainside. It doesn't analyze each rock, doesn't create detailed strategies for navigating each curve. It simply follows the path of least resistance, finding its way with an intelligence that surpasses any human planning. Yet somehow, it always reaches the ocean. Your business dreams carry this same fluid intelligence, this same capacity to find their way to fulfillment when you allow them to flow, rather than forcing them into rigid channels. The attachment to overplanning often stems from a deeper wound, the fear that you, in your natural state, are not enough, that your intuition cannot be trusted, that the universe might somehow forget about you if you're not constantly pushing, constantly strategizing, constantly proving your worthiness through elaborate plans. But your breath knows better. Each inhale brings in fresh possibility. Each exhale releases what no longer serves. This is the rhythm of quantum manifestation, a dance between receiving and releasing, between inspiration and action. Your nervous system holds memory not just of your own experiences, but of ancestral patterns of scarcity, of having to fight for survival, of believing that success requires suffering. These patterns live in your body as a constant state of hypervigilance, always scanning for the next threat, the next problem to solve, the next strategy to implement. But as you sink deeper into this moment, deeper into the softness of your breath, you begin to remember another way. There's a profound difference between planning from fear and visioning from love. Fear-based planning feels heavy in your body, creates tension in your jaw, makes your thoughts race in circles. Love-based visioning feels expansive, creates a warm glow in your chest, allows your mind to rest in possibility rather than problem solving. Right now, place your hand on your heart and notice which energy your current business strategies are rising from. The quantum field responds not to your strategies, but to your frequency, the emotional and energetic state from which you're operating. When you're constantly strategizing from a place of lack, of not enoughness, of having to force outcomes, you're broadcasting a frequency of struggle, and the universe, in its infinite responsiveness, mirrors that frequency back to you through experiences of struggle, resistance, and block flow. But when you allow your strategies to arise from a place of trust, of knowing that you are held by something larger than your individual will, your frequency shifts. You begin to broadcast coherence rather than chaos, flow rather than force, and suddenly, the same business ideas that felt impossible before begin to magnetize the right people, the right opportunities, the right synchronicities with an ease that your overplanning mind could never have orchestrated. This doesn't mean abandoning all structure or direction. It means allowing your strategies to become fluid, responsive, alive, like a jazz musician who knows the melody but allows for improvisation. You hold your vision lightly while remaining open to the quantum shifts that want to move through your business. You plan with one hand while keeping the other hand open to receive what you haven't yet imagined. Your body knows when you're in alignment with natural flow and when you're swimming against the current of your own creative force. Notice how your breathing changes when you think about your most forced, effortful business strategies. Notice how it shifts when you imagine allowing your business to unfold with the same organic intelligence that grows a seed into a tree, that turns a caterpillar into a butterfly, that orchestrates the dance of planets without any strategic planning at all. The attachment to rigid planning often masks a deeper spiritual wound, the belief that you've been separated from the creative force of the universe, that you must somehow earn your place in the quantum field through perfect strategies and flawless execution. But you were never separate. You are a unique expression of the same intelligence that moves the tides, that blooms flowers, that bursts stars. Your business dreams are not separate from this cosmic creativity. They are an extension of it. As you feel your body sinking deeper into rest, notice how your muscles naturally release when you stop trying to control them. This is a teaching about surrender, about the profound power that becomes available when you align with natural forces rather than fighting against them. Your most successful business strategies will arise not from forcing outcomes, but from this same quality of relaxed alertness, of being both grounded in purpose and open to quantum flow. The most powerful quantum events often happen in the spaces between your planned actions, in the pause between exhale and inhale, in the silence between thoughts, in the moments when you stop strategizing long enough to simply be present with what wants to emerge. These are the moments when the observer effect can work in your favor, when your relaxed awareness creates space for possibilities you never could have planned. Tonight, as you drift toward sleep, consider this gentle invitation. What if your business dreams are like seeds that know exactly how to grow once you provide the right conditions? Not through forced strategies, but through the rich soil of trust, the gentle rain of inspired action, the patient sunlight of allowing. What if the very thing you've been planning so desperately is already trying to unfold through you, waiting only for you to soften enough to let it bloom? Close your eyes for a moment and feel the weight of your body settling into this present moment. Your breath moves in and out, a gentle rhythm that connects you to something far greater than you might have imagined. You are not merely reading these words, you are participating in an ancient dance between consciousness and creation, between the observer and the observed. In the quantum realm, scientists have discovered something that mystics have whispered for centuries. Reality is not fixed. It exists in a state of infinite possibility until the moment someone observes it. Like morning mist that takes shape only when touched by light, your business, your abundance, your very life exists in quantum superposition, simultaneously holding every potential outcome until your consciousness collapses it into form. Breathe deeper now and consider this. You are not separate from your business. You are not outside of it, managing it, controlling it from a distance. You are the conscious observer whose very attention, whose very state of being, determines which possibility becomes real. Your inner world, the beliefs you carry about, your worthiness, the stories you tell yourself about abundance, the way your nervous system responds to expansion. These are not separate from your external results. They are the quantum field from which your reality emerges. Think of a wave in the ocean. Before it crashes upon the shore, it exists as pure potential energy, moving through the water in patterns of possibility. Only when it meets the observer, the shoreline, the rock, your waiting hand, does it collapse into the specific form of splash, spray, and foam. Your business success, your abundance, your deepest dreams exist in this same state of wave-like potential, waiting for your consciousness to give them form. But here lies the profound responsibility that most never understand. The quality of your observation matters. The state of your inner being when you turn your attention toward your dreams determines which version of reality crystallizes before you. If you observe your business through the lens of fear, through old wounds that whisper you are not enough, through a nervous system trapped in patterns of survival and scarcity, then these frequencies become the template from which your reality takes shape. Your breath knows this truth. Feel it now, moving through your body like a gentle tide. Each inhale draws impossibility, each exhale releases what no longer serves. Your nervous system, this intricate network of awareness that extends from your brain to every cell in your body, is constantly reading the quantum field around you. It is constantly choosing which frequencies to amplify, which patterns to collapse into experience. When your nervous system is dysregulated, caught in loops of anxiety about money, trapped in old stories of not being good enough, carrying the weight of generational poverty consciousness, it observes your business through this filter, and the quantum field responds accordingly. The observer effect is not just a principle of physics. It is the governing law of your lived experience. But what happens when you begin to heal the observer? What happens when you tend to the wounds that distort your perception? When you regulate your nervous system? When you learn to observe your dreams through the clear lens of your inherent worthiness? Imagine for a moment that you are standing at the edge of a still lake at dawn. The water is so perfectly calm that it mirrors the sky, creating a seamless boundary between heaven and earth. This is your consciousness in its natural state, clear, receptive, undisturbed by the ripples of old trauma or the waves of conditioned fear. When you observe your business from this place of inner stillness, when you turn your attention toward abundance from a regulated nervous system that remembers its safety, you become a different kind of observer entirely. The quantum field responds not to your strategies or your effort, but to the frequency of your being. It responds to the deep, unshakable knowing that you are worthy of the abundance you seek. It responds to the quiet confidence that flows through a nervous system that has learned to trust, to expand, to receive without bracing for impact. Your business is not something you build through force or manipulation. It is something you allow to emerge through the quality of your attention, through the coherence of your inner state. Each day, as you show up to your work, you are conducting a quantum experiment. You are testing whether your consciousness has truly shifted, whether the observer within you has evolved beyond the limitations that once defined your reality. Notice how different it feels to imagine success from a place of calm certainty versus anxious hoping. Notice how your body responds when you think about abundance from a nervous system that feels safe versus one that is braced for disappointment. These are not just emotional differences, these are quantum differences. They represent entirely different observer effects, entirely different templates for reality creation. The ancient wisdom keepers understood this. They knew that true manifestation was not about manipulating the external world, but about purifying the observer. They knew that lasting change required healing the lens through which we perceive reality. Modern quantum physics has simply given us the language to understand what they always knew. Consciousness shapes reality at the most fundamental level. As you breathe into this moment, consider the profound gift of this awareness. You are not a victim of circumstance, tossed about by economic forces beyond your control. You are not limited by your past failures or constrained by your current conditions. You are the conscious observer who shapes reality through the very quality of your attention. But this power comes with responsibility. It asks you to become curious about your inner world with the same dedication you bring to your outer strategies. It asks you to tend to your nervous system with the same care you give to your business plans. It asks you to heal the wounds that distort your observation, to regulate the patterns that keep you locked in old frequencies of lack and limitation. Your breath is your teacher in this process. Each conscious breath is a moment of observer effect, training. Each time you choose to soften instead of contract, to trust instead of control, to observe your dreams through love instead of fear, you are literally restructuring the quantum field from which your reality emerges. The most successful entrepreneurs understand this intuitively. They know that their inner state is not separate from their business results. They have learned to tend to their consciousness with the same precision they bring to their marketing strategies. They have discovered that regulating their nervous system is not self-indulgence. It is the most practical business practice they can cultivate. As you prepare to rest, as your body settles into the rhythm of approaching sleep, carry this awareness with you tomorrow. When you wake and turn your attention once again toward your business, toward your dreams of abundance, you will do so as a different observer. You will do so from a nervous system that remembers its capacity for trust, from a consciousness that knows its power to shape reality through the simple act of observation. Your business is waiting in the quantum field of possibility, ready to collapse into form through the clear lens of your awakened attention. Your abundance is not something you must chase or capture or convince into existence. It is something you allow to emerge through the quality of your being, through the coherence of your inner state, through the profound responsibility and power of conscious observation. What version of reality will you choose to observe into existence? What frequency will your nervous system broadcast as you sleep, dream, and wake into tomorrow's possibilities? Your breath finds its own rhythm now, natural and unhurried, like waves meeting shore in their ancient dance. Feel your body settling deeper into this moment, into this space where business wisdom and body wisdom become one flowing river. There is an intelligence within you that predates every business book, every strategy session, every late-night planning marathon. Your nervous system carries the accumulated wisdom of countless generations who knew when to hunt and when to gather, when to build shelter and when to migrate with the seasons. This same intelligence pulses through your bloodstream right now, whispering truths your mind has forgotten how to hear. Business anxiety, that familiar tightness in your chest, often arises when you operate against these deeper rhythms. Your system knows the difference between sustainable expansion and forced growth, between aligned action and frantic doing. Yet somewhere along the way, you learn to override these signals, to push through exhaustion, to mistake depletion for dedication. Let your shoulders release now. Feeling the weight of should and must melting away, your nervous system speaks in sensations, not spreadsheets. It communicates through the quality of your sleep, the ease of your digestion, the steadiness of your heartbeat during challenging conversations. When your system feels safe, creativity flows. When it feels threatened, survival mode narrows your vision of fight, flight, or freeze. Notice how different business decisions feel in your body. The project that lights you up creates a subtle expansion in your chest, a quickening that feels alive rather than anxious. The opportunity that drains you before you even begin creates contraction, a pulling inward that your rational mind might dismiss as fear, but your body recognizes as wisdom. Your nervous system operates on quantum time, not linear time. It knows that integration cannot be rushed, that sustainable success requires periods of apparent inactivity where invisible shifts crystallize into new possibilities. The observer effect teaches us that consciousness shapes reality through the quality of attention we bring to each moment. Your nervous system is your most sophisticated quantum instrument, constantly collapsing infinite business possibilities into the one that serves your highest timeline. Feel your heartbeat now, steady and sure. This rhythm has sustained you through every challenge, every breakthrough, every moment of doubt. Your heart knows something your mind often forgets, that genuine success emerges from coherence, not force. When your heart rate variability is optimal, when your nervous system is regulated, you naturally attune to opportunities that create win-win outcomes. The entrepreneurs who sustain long-term success learn to read their energy like skilled sailors. Read wind patterns. They understand that trying to expand when their system needs integration is like sailing against hurricane winds, exhausting and ultimately counterproductive. Your body will always tell you the truth about timing, about readiness, about alignment. Consider the oak tree outside your window, if you have one, or imagine one now. It doesn't force spring growth in winter depths. It trusts the intelligence of seasons, of cycles, of natural timing. Your business, too, moves through seasons. There are times for rapid expansion and times for quiet strengthening of roots. Your nervous system knows which season you're in. If you're willing to listen, trauma patterns in business often look like chronic urgency, like the inability to rest even when rest would serve you. These patterns develop when your system learned that vigilance meant survival, that pushing through pain was the only path forward. But what served you once may now be limiting the very success you seek to create. Your vagus nerve, that wandering pathway connecting brain to body, carries messages of safety or threat to every cell. When your business operates from a regulated nervous system, clients feel this calm confidence. Deals flow more easily, negotiations become conversations, conflicts transform into collaborative problem solving. Feel the space behind your sternum now, that vast inner cavity where your heart rests. This is your business intelligence center, your quantum decision-making hub. When you learn to pause here before responding to emails, before making offers, before saying yes or no to opportunities, you access wisdom that transcends market analysis and competitive research. Your nervous system remembers every business interaction that felt truly nourishing and every exchange that left you depleted. It builds an internal compass based on these experiences, pointing always towards sustainable success rather than empty achievement. The tightness you feel about certain clients isn't random, it's intelligence. The ease you experience with specific collaborators isn't coincidence, it's resonance. As you sink deeper into rest, imagine your business as an extension of your own biorhythm. See it breathing with the same rhythm as your lungs, expanding and contracting in natural cycles. Feel how this changes everything, the pressure to be constantly growing, the anxiety about competition, the fear of not being enough. Your nervous system wisdom recognizes that scarcity thinking activates fight or flight responses that actually block the quantum field of abundant possibilities. When you operate from nervous system regulation, from a deep sense of safety and trust, you become magnetic to circumstances that support your highest expression. The most successful leaders throughout history have been those who learned to trust their body's wisdom alongside their mental strategies. They knew when to advance and when to retreat, when to speak and when to listen, when to hold firm and when to flow with change. This knowing lives in your cells, in the pause between heartbeats, in the wisdom of your breath. Feel yourself breathing. Now, each exhale releasing the need to force outcomes. Each inhale welcoming the natural intelligence that wants to move through your business, through your life. Your nervous system is not separate from your success. It is the foundation from which authentic achievement grows. The quantum flow of business emerges when personal rhythms align with universal rhythms. When your individual nervous system harmony contributes to the larger symphony of conscious commerce. You are not separate from the field of infinite possibility. You are a unique expression of it. Your regulated nervous system is how you attune to the frequencies of genuine abundance. In this softening space between wake and sleep, let yourself remember your body is not a machine to be driven toward goals. It is a wise and ancient navigation system, always pointing toward your truest path. Trust its intelligence, honor its rhythms. Let it guide you toward business decisions that nourish not just your bank account, but your soul. What would your business look like if every decision emerged from nervous system wisdom, rather than nervous system reactivity? Rest your hand gently on your heart now, and feel the rhythm that connects you to every other beating heart in this vast web of existence. In the space between this beat and the next, in the pause between one breath and another, there exists a field so intricate, so alive with connection, that your mind can barely comprehend its beauty, yet your heart knows it intimately. You are not alone in your business journey, though the story of entrepreneurship often tells you otherwise. You are not pushing your message into an empty void, hoping someone might hear you. Instead, you are participating in an ancient dance of mutual recognition, where those who need what you offer are already seeking you, just as you are seeking them. This is quantum entanglement made visible in the realm of service and exchange. Just as particles once connected remain mysteriously linked across vast distances, instantly affecting each other regardless of space and time. You and your ideal clients share an invisible bond that transcends the apparent separation of your individual lives. Your healing becomes their healing. Your growth becomes their growth. Your willingness to shine your light creates permission for them to do the same. Feel how different this is from the marketing you've been taught. Feel how your nervous system responds to the idea that connection is not something you create, but something you allow. When you try to convince someone they need what you offer, your body tenses with the effort of pushing against the natural flow. But when you trust in this quantum field of collaboration, your entire being relaxes into a state of magnetic receptivity. In this field, there is no competition, only collaboration. The success of others in your industry does not diminish your own, it strengthens the entire web. When someone else thrives by serving in their unique way, they raise the frequency. A possibility for everyone. This is not naive optimism, this is quantum physics. Energy amplifies when it moves in coherent patterns, when individual frequencies harmonize rather than compete. Your ideal clients are not people you need to find, they are people you need to remember. They are the ones whose souls signed the same contract yours did before you came into this lifetime, agreeing to find each other across the vastness of human experience. They are carrying pieces of the puzzle that only becomes complete when combined with yours. You are carrying medicine that only makes sense in the context of their particular healing journey. Notice how your breath deepens when you consider this possibility. Notice how your shoulders drop away from your ears when you imagine that the right people are already looking for you, already sensing your presence in the field, already feeling the pull of what you offer even before they can name it. This is your nervous system recognizing truth, relaxing into the natural order of things. The stories you've been told about scarcity, about having to fight for your share of attention and resources, begin to dissolve in this understanding. There is no scarcity in the quantum field, only infinite configurations of connection, infinite ways for love and service to express itself through willing vessels like you. When you market from this place of knowing, everything changes. Your words carry a different frequency because they arise not from desperation or strategy, but from genuine recognition of the connection that already exists. You are not trying to create need, you are acknowledging the need that is already there, already calling your name across the apparent distance between hearts. This is why authentic marketing feels so different in your body. When you speak from truth about what you offer, when you share your story not to manipulate, but to connect, when you describe your work not as the only solution, but as one note in the larger symphony of healing available in the world, your nervous system recognizes this as aligned action. There is no pushing, no forcing, no energetic aggression, only the gentle revelation of what is already true. Your ideal clients feel this difference too. Their nervous systems can distinguish between energy that seeks to extract something from them and energy that seeks to serve them. They are drawn not to your perfection, but to your authenticity. They are magnetized not by your promises, but by your presence. They recognize in you not someone who has all the answers, but someone who is walking a path they also want to walk out in the quantum field of collaboration. Marketing becomes a form of prayer. Each post, each conversation, each offering becomes an invitation for the right connections to reveal themselves. You are not broadcasting into the void, you are singing your note in the vast choir of human experience, trusting that those who need to hear it will recognize their own frequency, reflected back to them. This field responds to coherence, to the alignment between who you are and what you offer. When there is dissonance between your inner truth and your outer expression, the field becomes confused, mixed signals creating mixed results. But when you allow your business to be a true extension of your being, when your marketing becomes a natural expression of your desire to serve, the field organizes itself around this clarity. Feel into the places where you've been efforting, where you've been trying to make something happen instead of allowing it to unfold. Feel how exhausted your nervous system has become from believing you must push and persuade and prove your way to success. Your body knows this is not the way. Your body knows that true collaboration feels like ease, like recognition, like coming home. As you rest here tonight, allow yourself to sink into the knowing that your people are already out there, already feeling the pull of what you offer, already preparing themselves to receive what you've come here to give. They are healing the wounds that prevent them from recognizing you. They are clearing the beliefs that would keep them from saying yes to their own transformation. They are gathering the resources they will need to invest in their growth. All of this is happening simultaneously, in perfect coordination with your own journey of becoming ready to serve them. The quantum field of collaboration is not something you enter. It is something you remember. You have never left. Every marketing strategy, every business decision, every moment of service becomes an opportunity to strengthen your awareness of this connection, to trust more deeply in the invisible threads that weave you together with those whose lives you are meant to touch. Rest now in this web of connection, feeling yourself held not only by your own intentions, but by the collective longing for healing, for growth, for the unique gifts that only you can offer. Trust that as you sleep, this field continues to organize itself around your willingness to serve, drawing the perfect opportunities and connections into your experience. What if every person you are meant to serve is already seeking you in ways you cannot yet imagine? There's a moment, usually late at night when the world has grown quiet, when you catch a glimpse of yourself in the mirror and barely recognize the person looking back, not because your appearance has changed, but because for just an instant, the mask has slipped. The carefully constructed business persona, the confident entrepreneur, the person who has it all figured out, all of it falls away. You're left with the raw, unguarded truth of who you are beneath all the performance. Your nervous system holds the memory of every identity you've ever worn like armor. The overachiever who learned that love came through accomplishment. The people pleaser who discovered that harmony meant hiding your true needs. The perfectionist who believed that flawless execution could somehow guarantee safety in an uncertain world. Each of these identities served a purpose once, protected you from some real or imagined threat, but now they become the very patterns that limit your business's natural quantum flow. Take a breath and feel into the weight of all the roles you carry. Notice how your shoulders might tense when you think about being the successful entrepreneur, how your jaw might clench when you consider the pressure to be constantly on, constantly performing competence and confidence even when you feel anything but. Your body knows the difference between authentic expression and performed identity. It recognizes the subtle exhaustion that comes from wearing masks that no longer fit who you're becoming, the patterns that repeat in your business, the way you sabotage success just as it arrives, the way you attract clients who drain your energy, the way opportunities slip through your fingers at the last moment. These aren't random occurrences. They're reflections of deeper identity loops running beneath conscious awareness, quantum entanglements between who you think you have to be and who you actually are. Until you untangle these threads, your business will continue to mirror back the same limitations, the same struggles, the same sense of swimming upstream against your own creative force. Who were you before you learned that your worth was conditional? Before you discovered that love had to be earned, that success required sacrifice, that showing your true self was somehow dangerous? There's a version of you that exists beyond all conditioning. Beyond all learned identity, there's a quantum essence that remains untouched by the stories you've told yourself about who you need to be to survive in this world. Your breath knows this essence. Each inhale connects you to something vast and uncontainable, something that cannot be reduced to a business plan or marketing strategy. Each exhale releases the layers of false identity that have accumulated like dust on the surface of a mirror. With each breath, you remember a little more of who you were before the world taught you to be someone else. The business mask often forms in childhood. In those early moments when you learned that certain aspects of your personality were acceptable, while others needed to be hidden. Maybe your natural enthusiasm was too much, so you learned to dim your light. Maybe your sensitivity was seen as weakness, so you built walls around your heart. Maybe your creativity was impractical, so you channeled it into safer expressions. These early adaptations created internal splits that now show up as inconsistency in your business. One day you're on fire with inspiration, the next day you can barely get out of bed. The quantum field responds to coherence, to the alignment between your inner truth and outer expression. When you're operating from behind a mask, broadcasting one frequency while feeling another, you create interference, patterns that block the very success you're working so hard to achieve. It's like trying to tune into a radio station while someone else is changing the dial. The signal gets scrambled, the message gets lost, and what should flow effortlessly becomes a struggle. But here's what your mind doesn't want you to know. The parts of yourself you've been hiding, the aspects of your personality you deemed unprofessional or inappropriate for business. These are often your greatest gifts. Your sensitivity might be your superpower for understanding what your clients really need. Your quirkiness might be exactly what makes you memorable in a crowded marketplace. Your vulnerability might be the bridge that creates genuine connection with the people meant to work with you. As you sink deeper into this quiet moment, deeper into the space between your thoughts, notice what wants to be acknowledged. What parts of yourself have you been keeping locked away in the name of business success? What aspects of your authentic nature have you sacrificed on the altar of professional acceptability? Your nervous system stores these betrayals as tension, as the low-grade anxiety that whispers you're not safe to be yourself, not safe to let your true light shine. The identity beyond the business mask doesn't need to be crafted or constructed. It simply needs to be revealed. Like an archaeologist carefully brushing away layers of sediment to uncover an ancient treasure, you can gently dissolve the accumulated identities that no longer serve, allowing your essential self to emerge. This isn't about becoming someone new. It's about remembering who you've always been beneath all the costumes and characters. Your authentic identity carries its own magnetic frequency, its own quantum signature that naturally attracts aligned opportunities, relationships, and experiences. When you stop trying to be who you think you should be and start expressing who you actually are, the universe responds with a symphony of synchronicities. Doors open that you never even knocked on. People appear who recognize and celebrate your uniqueness. Resources flow toward you with an ease that feels almost magical because you're finally broadcasting G from your true frequency instead of a manufactured one. The healing happens in layers, like an onion being peeled one gentle layer at a time. Some identities will dissolve easily, releasing their grip with just a conscious breath and a moment of acknowledgement. Others might require more patience, more compassion, more time to feel safe enough to let go. The perfectionist identity, especially, often holds on tight because it believes it's protecting you from criticism and rejection. It doesn't yet understand that perfection is the enemy of connection, that your flaws and imperfections are often what make you most lovable and relatable. Notice how your body responds when you imagine showing up in your business as you're complete, unedited self-quirks and all, sensitivities and all, truth and all. Does your chest expand or contract? Does your breathing deepen or become shallow? Your body will tell you whether you're moving toward authenticity or away from it, whether you're aligning with your quantum essence or reinforcing old patterns of hiding and performing. The most profound quantum shifts happen not when you try harder or strategize better, But when you finally stop pretending to be someone you're not, when you release the exhausting effort of maintaining personas that don't fit, energy becomes available for creation, for inspiration, for the kind of effortless action that feels like play. Rather than work, your business becomes an extension of your authentic self rather than a performance space where you act out roles that drain your life force. There's a deep intelligence in your authentic nature, a wisdom that knows exactly how to navigate your business challenges when you stop interfering with manufactured strategies and forced identities. This intelligence doesn't need to be taught or developed, it simply needs space to operate, permission to express. Trust that it knows what it's doing even when your mind doesn't understand the path. As you prepare to drift into sleep, feel into the relief of taking off a costume that no longer fits, of setting down a character that was never really you. Tonight, in the safety of dreams, you might meet the version of yourself that exists beyond all masks, beyond all business identities, beyond all learned limitations. This is the self that holds the keys to your most authentic success, the self that knows how to create from love rather than fear, from truth rather than strategy. What if the business you're meant to build can only be created by the real you, not the polished version, not the perfect version, but the beautifully human version that contains multitudes, that holds both strength and vulnerability, that carries gifts the world has never seen before because no one else has ever been exactly who you are? Let your breath deepen now and feel your body beginning to surrender into this moment of quiet transformation. As the weight of the day dissolves around you, notice what emotions might be stirring beneath the surface, perhaps a whisper of fear about tomorrow's challenges or the familiar weight of doubt pressing against your chest. These feelings that you've been taught to push away, to overcome, to transcend in pursuit of success, are actually precious messengers carrying quantum information from the deepest layers of your being. Your emotions are not obstacles cluttering the path to your business dreams. They are not evidence of weakness or proof that you're not ready for the abundance you seek. They are energy in motion, quite literally. Emotion, and within their flowing currents lies the raw material for the most profound reality shifts you can imagine. Each feeling that moves through your nervous system is a wave of pure potential, waiting to be witnessed, understood, and alchemically transformed into the very frequency that will call your dreams into form. Consider for a moment the fear that visits you when you think about expanding your business, about stepping into the visibility that your soul craves. This fear is not your enemy. It is quantum information arising from the field of your unconscious, where old agreements about safety and belonging live. Your nervous system, this exquisite instrument of perception, has learned to interpret expansion as danger, abundance as exposure, success as inevitable abandonment or attack. But what if fear is actually an invitation? What if it's your psyche's way of saying, something beautiful wants to be born through you, and I need you to witness the old patterns that are ready to dissolve? Fear of failure, that persistent companion that whispers you're not ready, not qualified, not enough. This is not a verdict on your worthiness. It is a quantum frequency carrying information about past experiences, when vulnerability led to pain, when stepping forward led to falling, when your light was met with criticism or rejection. Your body holds this information in its cells, in the subtle contractions around your heart, in the way your breath becomes shallow when you imagine claiming the success you desire. These are not pathologies to be fixed, but sacred data points, showing you exactly where your consciousness is ready to expand. Each uncomfortable emotion is a doorway into deeper layers of self-awareness, and self-awareness is the foundation of all conscious manifestation. Breathe with me now, and let your attention drop into your body. What emotions are present as you consider your business, your dreams, your relationship with money and success? Perhaps there's imposter syndrome whispering that you're pretending to be something you're not. Maybe there's a familiar anxiety that comes with the thought of being seen, of putting your work into the world where it can be judged or rejected. These feelings are not random neuroses, they are your inner wisdom highlighting exactly where healing wants to happen. Imposter syndrome, that particular flavor of self-doubt that haunts so many sensitive entrepreneurs, arises from a split between who you've been told you should be and who you authentically are. It's your psyche's attempt to protect you from the vulnerability of being fully seen, but it's also pointing toward the profound healing that awaits. When you learn to embrace your authentic self as the source of your greatest gifts, the quantum field doesn't respond to your performance or your perfection. It responds to your coherence, to the alignment between your inner truth and your outer expression. When you try to be someone you're not in order to achieve success, you create a frequency of pretense that the field reads and reflects back to you. But when you learn to alchemize your imposter syndrome, when you breathe with it, witness it, and allow it to guide you back to authenticity, you begin broadcasting a frequency of genuine power that magnetizes opportunities aligned with your true nature. Scarcity beliefs operate in much the same way. That familiar contraction you feel when you think about raising your prices, when you consider whether there's enough success to go around, when you worry about taking up too much space. In your industry, these are not character flaws. They are generational patterns stored in your nervous system, inherited frequencies that your ancestors developed to survive in times when resources were genuinely scarce, when standing out meant danger, when too much success invited envy or persecution. Your body carries these patterns like precious heirlooms, not because they're true for your current reality, but because they once served your lineage's survival. The fear of too much that makes you shrink your prices, dim your light, or apologize for your gifts. This is ancestral wisdom that kept your people safe in contexts where abundance was dangerous, but you are living in a different quantum reality now, one where your expansion serves not just your own healing, but the healing of your entire lineage. As you breathe into these places of contraction, as you allow your attention to rest with gentle curiosity on the emotions that arise around money and success, you begin the sacred process of emotional alchemy. This is not about pushing through or overcoming your feelings. This is about befriending them as wise teachers, about learning their language, about understanding the gifts they carry within their challenging messages. The alchemy happens through presence. Each time you resist the impulse to distract yourself from difficult emotions, each time you choose to breathe with fear instead of running from it, you are literally restructuring the neural pathways that have kept you locked in old patterns. Your nervous system begins to learn that it's safe to feel, safe to witness, safe to transform. And in this safety, profound quantum shifts become possible. Watch what happens in your body as you imagine embracing your fear of failure rather than trying to eliminate it. Notice how different it feels to approach imposter syndrome with curiosity rather than judgment. Observe the subtle relaxation that occurs when you stop trying to fix your scarcity beliefs and instead ask them what they're trying to protect, what they're trying to tell you about your deepest needs and longings. This is the paradox of emotional alchemy. The very feelings you've been taught to overcome become your greatest allies in creating quantum shifts. Fear, properly witnessed, transforms into excitement about the unknown. Imposter syndrome, when met with compassion, dissolves into authentic confidence. Scarcity beliefs, when understood as protective mechanisms, release their grip and allow abundance to flow naturally. Your emotions are quantum information because they arise from the field of your unconscious, from layers of awareness that your conscious mind cannot directly access. They carry data about your deepest programming, your inherited patterns, your soul's longing for wholeness and expression. When you learn to read this information with love rather than resistance, you gain access to the source code of your reality. Creation. This is why so many business strategies fail to create lasting change. They work at the level of action and thought, but they don't address the emotional frequencies that are actually broadcasting your reality into existence. You can have the perfect marketing plan, the most sophisticated sales funnel, the clearest business strategy, but if your nervous system is still running old programs of unworthiness, if your emotional body is still broadcasting frequencies of scarcity and fear, then these deeper patterns will continue to create your experience. The entrepreneurs who achieve sustainable success understand this intuitively. They have learned to tend to their inner world with the same attention they give to their outer strategies. They have discovered that regulating their nervous system, healing their relationship with difficult emotions, and transforming their deepest patterns is not separate from business building. It is the most essential business building they can do. As your body continues to soften into rest, as your breath naturally deepens and slows, allow yourself to feel grateful for every emotion that has visited you today. Each one has been a messenger, a teacher, a guide pointing you toward greater wholeness and authentic power. The fear that makes your heart race when you think about your biggest dreams, this is not evidence that you're not ready. It's evidence that something magnificent wants to be born through you, something so aligned with your soul's purpose that your old identity structures are trembling with the anticipation of transformation. The doubt that whispers you don't have what it takes. This is not the voice of truth. It's the voice of old programming that learned to keep you small in order to keep you safe. But safety is not your highest value anymore. Growth is. Service is the full expression of your gifts, and your emotions are here to support this evolution, to guide you through the quantum shifts required to become who you're meant to be. Your nervous system is learning a new language now, a language of trust and expansion rather than protection and contraction. Each conscious breath you take while feeling difficult emotions teaches your body that it's safe to experience the full spectrum of human feeling. Each moment you choose presence over avoidance rewires the neural pathways that have kept you locked in survival mode. This is the real work of conscious entrepreneurship, not just building a business, but building a nervous system that can hold the frequency of your fully expressed self, not just creating strategies, but creating the inner coherence that allows those strategies to work, not just overcoming your limitations, but alchemizing them into the very strengths that make your work irreplaceable. As sleep begins to call you deeper into rest, as your conscious mind prepares to step aside and allow your subconscious to integrate these insights, know that healing is happening. With each dream cycle, with each moment of deep rest, your nervous system is rewiring itself around new possibilities. Your emotional body is learning to trust the process of transformation. Your quantum field is reorganizing itself around the frequencies of your authentic power. Tomorrow, when you wake and turn your attention once again toward your business, toward your dreams of service and abundance, you will do so as someone who has befriended their emotions as allies rather than obstacles. You will approach your work from a nervous system that has learned to read fear as excitement, doubt as an invitation to deeper knowing, scarcity as a call to remember your inherent abundance. What quantum shifts are waiting to emerge through your willingness to feel, to witness, to transform? What reality wants to be born through your courage to embrace the full spectrum of your emotional wisdom? Let your breathing deepen now, each exhale releasing the weight of force and struggle, each inhale inviting the natural intelligence that moves rivers toward oceans, that guides eagles on invisible currents, that orchestrates symphonies of stars across infinite space. There is a rhythm that exists beyond the mechanical tick of clocks and deadlines, beyond the harsh metrics of hustle culture. It is the rhythm of quantum flow, where your business becomes liquid poetry, moving with the effortless grace of water finding its perfect path down mountainsides. Feel this rhythm now, pulsing beneath your conscious awareness like an underground river of infinite potential. In this flow state economy, effort transforms into something entirely different, not the grinding friction of resistance, but the focused ease of a dancer who has practiced so deeply that movement becomes meditation. Your business, when aligned with this natural intelligence, stops being something you do and becomes something you are. The boundary between creator and creation dissolves like morning mist. Watch how water moves. It never fights the stone that blocks its path. It finds another way, wearing the hardest granite smooth through gentle persistence. It pulls when it needs to gather strength, rushes when the path opens wide, always responsive to the terrain it meets. Your business can learn this same fluid intelligence, this same graceful adaptation that honors both power and patience. The observer effect reveals that consciousness shapes reality through the quality of attention we bring to each moment. In flow state, your attention becomes laser-focused yet relaxed, like a cat watching a bird, completely present without the tension of striving. This state of being naturally attracts the people, opportunities, and resources that support your highest expression. Feel your heartbeat slowing into this deeper rhythm. When you operate from flow, your nervous system recognizes safety, abundance, the natural order of things working in your favor. Stress hormones recede, creative pathways illuminate. Solutions appear not through mental forcing, but through the quiet wisdom of allowing the right answer to emerge. The old economy taught us to swim upstream, to fight current and tide, to mistake exhaustion for progress. But there exists another way, a quantum pathway where inspired action meets perfect timing, where your deepest truth becomes your greatest asset. This is not about working smarter or harder. This is about working from a completely different frequency. In flow state, time becomes elastic. Minutes stretch into hours of creative expansion, or hours compress into moments of crystalline clarity. You've experienced this before, those magical sessions where words flowed through your fingers, where solutions presented themselves with startling simplicity, where the work felt more like play than labor. This is your natural state, not the exception but the birthright you've forgotten how to claim. Your business becomes an extension of your buyer rhythm. When you learn to honor the seasons of creativity, there are times for planting ideas and times for harvesting abundance, times for visible action and times for invisible integration. The entrepreneurs who sustain joy alongside success learn to read. These subtle energies, like musicians reading sheet music, feel the space between your thoughts expanding now. In this spaciousness, quantum possibilities dance like light through water. Your business intuition sharpens when your mind grows quiet. When you create space for knowing that emerges from beyond the calculating brain, this knowing speaks in whispers, in sudden insights, in the quality of energy that surrounds potential partnerships and opportunities. The flow state economy operates on trust rather than control, on attraction rather than pursuit, on magnetic resonance rather than forceful acquisition. When you align with this frequency, clients don't just buy your products, they feel called to your work. Collaborations emerge organically, resources appear as needed, neither too early nor too late, but with the perfect timing that characterizes all natural systems. Imagine your business as a river system, with tributaries of different income streams flowing toward the main current of your core purpose. Some seasons bring spring floods of abundance. Others offer the steady, reliable flow of established relationships. Both are necessary. Both are valuable. Neither requires the exhausting effort of trying to control the weather. Your nervous system knows the difference between aligned action and desperate doing. Aligned action feels expansive in your body, even when challenging. It creates energy rather than depleting it. Desperate doing, even when it produces short-term results, leaves you feeling hollow, disconnected from the deeper currents of sustainable success. In this softening space between wake and sleep, feel yourself releasing the mythology of struggle, the story that says success must be hard-won, that ease equals laziness, that flow means lack of ambition. These are collective traumas masquerading as wisdom, inherited beliefs that keep entire generations swimming against tides that would naturally carry them toward their dreams. The quantum mind operates beyond linear cause and effect. In flow state, you access this nonlinear intelligence where solutions appear before problems fully form, where opportunities align with desires before desire even crystallizes into conscious awareness. This is the economy of synchronicity, where meaningful coincidences become everyday occurrences. Feel your shoulders melting deeper into support now. When your business operates from flow state, it becomes a contribution to the larger quantum field of conscious commerce. You're not taking resources from a limited pool, you're adding to the infinite abundance that emerges when human creativity aligns with universal intelligence. The most sustainable businesses throughout history have been those that found their natural current and learned to navigate it skillfully. They understood when to paddle hard and when to float, when to steer decisively and when to trust the river's ancient wisdom. They became partners with the flow rather than adversaries to it. Your breath carries this wisdom now, each inhale connecting you to the vast intelligence that orchestrates ecosystems, that balances planetary cycles, that knows exactly when each flower should bloom and each tree should release its leaves. This same intelligence wants to move through your business, through your creative expression, through your unique gift to the world. In the flow state economy, competition transforms into collaboration, scarcity becomes abundance, and the question shifts from how can I get what I need to how can I give what I have. This reversal opens quantum pathways that bypass the limitations of traditional market thinking. Feel the gentle current beneath all your business concerns now. The steady flow that continues regardless of daily fluctuations in mood or market conditions. This current carries you toward expressions of success that nourish not just your bank account, but your soul's deepest longings. Trust this current. It knows where you're going even when your mind cannot see the destination. The quantum events that shape your business timeline emerge from this state of flow. The unexpected phone call, the perfect partnership, the solution that appears just when needed. These are not random occurrences, but natural results of aligning with the intelligence that moves through all living systems. As sleep approaches like a gentle tide, let yourself remember, your business is not separate from the natural world. It is nature expressing itself through human creativity, through your unique way of seeing and solving and serving. When you honor this truth, work becomes worship, effort becomes ease, and success becomes a state of being rather than a distant goal. What would your business feel like if it moved with the same natural grace as your own breathing? Place both hands now over your heart and feel the steady rhythm that has been keeping time with your life since before your first breath. This gentle drummer in your chest is far more than a pump circulating blood through your body. It is a powerful electromagnetic broadcaster, sending signals 50 times stronger than your brain into the quantum field that surrounds and interpenetrates everything you know as reality. As you rest here in this quiet moment, feeling the rise and fall of your chest, allow yourself to sense something your culture has forgotten, but your body has always known. Your heart is not just an organ, but an intelligence. It is a quantum antenna, receiving and transmitting information in frequencies your logical mind cannot detect, speaking in the ancient language of coherence that connects you to the deeper patterns, organizing your business, your relationships, your entire life experience. For too long, you have been taught to make business decisions from your head alone, analyzing data and projecting outcomes, weighing pros and cons in the small, contained space of rational thought. But your heart holds access to information your brain cannot reach, the collective wisdom of the quantum field, the subtle currents of energy that move beneath the surface of visible reality, the knowing that emerges when you attune to the larger intelligence that wants to express itself through your work. Feel into the decisions you made from this place of heart-brain coherence, even if you didn't name it as such at the time. Remember the moments when logic said one thing but something deeper said another, and you trusted the deeper knowing. Remember how those choices felt in your body aligned. Even when they seemed risky, remember how they unfolded with a grace that surprised your analytical mind, opening doors you hadn't even known existed. This is your heart's electromagnetic field communicating with the quantum field of possibilities, drawing to you the experiences that match your authentic frequency, rather than your fears or your strategies. When your heart and brain fall into coherent rhythm together, when your thoughts align with your deeper knowing, you become a clear signal in the vast network of consciousness. The field responds to this clarity by organizing itself around your true intentions. But notice also the decisions you made from disconnection. When your heart was saying no, but your mind was saying it made sense. When you pushed through your body's wisdom because the opportunity looked good on paper. Feel how those experiences unfolded differently, more effort, more resistance. Outcomes that may have appeared successful, but left you feeling somehow empty or depleted. Your nervous system remembers the difference. It knows the felt sense of aligned action versus forced action. When you make business decisions from heart-brain coherence, your entire system relaxes into trust. When you make them from fear disguised as logic, your body holds the tension of swimming against the current of your own authentic flow. Tonight, as your breath naturally deepens and your heart rate begins to synchronize with the slower rhythms of rest, you can begin to rebuild the sacred partnership between your heart's wisdom and your mind's capabilities. This is not about abandoning rational thinking, but about expanding it to include the intelligence that flows through your entire being. Your heart generates its own nervous system, sending more signals to your brain than it receives, influencing your thoughts, your perceptions, your capacity to see opportunities that may be invisible to purely logical analysis. When you breathe slowly and consciously, when you soften your attention toward your heart center, you naturally begin to access this broader intelligence. In this state of coherence, business decisions carry a different frequency entirely. They arise not from scarcity or comparison, not from should or have to, but from a deeper recognition of what wants to emerge through you. You begin to sense which opportunities are truly aligned with your path and which are simply distractions dressed up as possibilities. You begin to feel the difference between actions that will feed your soul and those that will drain it, regardless of their potential financial return. This is how successful entrepreneurs often describe their best decisions. They felt right before they made logical sense. They trusted an inner knowing that pointed them toward choices their analytical mind might have rejected. They learned to recognize the subtle but unmistakable feeling of alignment, the way their body said yes before their brain could construct all the reasons why. Your heart's electromagnetic field doesn't just influence your internal experience. It extends far beyond the boundaries of your physical body, creating an energetic signature that others can sense even when they're not consciously aware of it. When you operate from heart-brain coherence, you literally broadcast a different frequency into your business relationships, your client interactions, your marketing presence. People feel this coherence even through digital communication. They sense authenticity not through your words alone, but through the energetic frequency that accompanies them. When your heart and mind are aligned behind what you're offering, when there's no internal conflict between what you're saying and what you're feeling, others recognize this as trustworthiness at a cellular level. This is why some business owners seem to effortlessly attract the right opportunities, the right clients, the right collaborations. It's not just their strategies or their skills, it's the coherent signal they're broadcasting from the alignment between their heart's knowing and their mind's expression. The quantum field responds to this coherence by organizing experiences that match this frequency of authenticity. Feel into the places in your business where you've been operating from incoherence, where your heart has been saying one thing while your actions have been expressing another. Notice how this creates internal static, confusing signals that make it difficult for the right opportunities to find you clearly. Your nervous system holds the tension of this misalignment, creating the stress and exhaustion you may have attributed to the demands of business itself, but you can begin to restore coherence right here, right now, simply by returning your attention to your its rhythm and allowing your breath to synchronize with its gentle beat. As you do this, notice how your entire system begins to organize itself around this natural pace. Your thoughts slow down. Your body releases tension you didn't know you were holding. Your awareness expands beyond the narrow focus of problems and into the broader field of possibilities. In this state, you can begin to sense the business decisions that are waiting for your recognition, not the ones you think you should make, but the ones that are calling to you from the quantum field of your highest potential. You can feel which projects want to be birthed through you and which are simply old patterns dressed up as new opportunities. You can distinguish between the fear-based urgency that drives so much business activity and the patient, powerful timing of authentic emergence. This is intuitive business, not business without logic, but business that includes a much broader spectrum of intelligence. It's business that honors both the practical realities of the physical world and the subtle currents of energy that determine how those realities will unfold. It's business that trusts the heart's capacity to sense what the mind cannot yet see. As you prepare to sleep, allow your heart and brain to continue this conversation in the language of coherence. Trust that as your conscious mind rests, this deeper intelligence continues to organize your business around your authentic frequency, drawing to you the opportunities, the people, the resources that resonate with who you truly are rather than who you think you need to be to succeed. Feel yourself sinking into the knowing that your business is not separate from your heart. It is your heart's wisdom made manifest in the world, your love made tangible through service, your authentic frequency expressed through the unique gifts you came here to share. Rest now in this coherence, trusting that every heartbeat is broadcasting your true signal into the quantum field, calling into your experience the business reality that matches not your fears or your strategies, but the deepest truth of who you are and what you're here to offer. What if your next business decision could emerge not from analysis, but from the quiet wisdom that speaks between your heartbeats?